Hey, you guys. So I am back on the YouTube streets. It has been a minute, I know. I just needed to step away. That was something that I wanted to do for myself, mostly for my mental health. You know, I think that we all should take a break from something, whatever that something is to you. Sometimes you just need to do that, right? And so I think it's been almost a month since I've been on here. And in that time, I've been, like I said, taking a mental health break. I also was doing some remodeling around my house. So, you know, I decided to basically pull out my whole bathroom. And then I have like a bathroom and a half. So since the contractor was here, I'm like, let's just do it. Right. And so I'm so indecisive when it comes to stuff like that. Like, you know, you pick a tile and then you decide, oh, I don't like that as much as I'd like that one. You see something else. It was just a lot of that going on. And then when you don't have a bathtub or shower or something like that, the last thing I was thinking about was coming on here. All I wanted to do is take a shower, right? And then I have a smelly little athlete in my house, my daughter. So we had to go to a friend's house to shower. So the last thing I'm thinking about, guys, is getting on here trying to run my mouth. And although there was a lot of stuff going on that I could have talked about, I wasn't thinking about that, right? All I just wanted to do is wash my ass, right? So things have settled down a bit more over here. I can now shower. My bathroom is complete and I'm happy about that. So I was like, well, you know, what better time than any to get back on here and to run my mouth. All right. And the reason why I chose to come back on at this particular time and talk about this particular thing is because it actually involves something I said. Yes. So as you can see, you see Kenya Moore here and Sidora. And if you watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta and you watch the reunion, Kenya and Drew were going back and forth about a tweet that Kenya retweeted regarding the conversation about Drew's son. If you've been following the storyline, you know that Drew has this whole old daddy, new daddy storyline in which she wanted her son. She was, you know, kind of asking her son, do you want to meet your old daddy? And he was like, no. And a tweet that I actually tweeted, it was my tweet, went viral because Kenya decided to retweet it. And so on the reunion, the first part of reunion the other night, Drew was crying about it. And she said, you know, talk about my son. And I was crying and blah, 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 blah. And Kenya Moore stood fast and it's like, I wasn't talking about your son. It was referring to the conversation that you were having with your son and how uncomfortable he was in it. And like I said, I just wanted to come on here and to basically tell you guys that it was my tweet. Now I may have been gone from the YouTube streets and I don't even be on Instagram that much either. Really, I don't. But one place that I do stay pretty I stay over there is Twitter. And shout out to Casey who said, hey girl, we miss you over here. We miss you on the YouTube streets. She was over there on Twitter and she reached out to me. So thank you, girl. I saw your tweet. Thank you. So this is the tweet. It said, the conversation with Drew's son is so cringy. Let that baby go play Minecraft or something. That was my tweet. And it appeared on the reunion, y'all. I'm a star. Okay. So yes, that was my tweet. And as I stated, Drew felt a way about Kenya retweeting it. Okay. They made it look different than what mine looked like, right? It didn't look like that when I tweeted it. I'm going to show you the actual original tweet because that's not how my tweet actually looked, but it is indeed my tweet, right? It is actually my tweet. All right. And Kenya Moore retweeted it. And it's funny when it happened, I kept getting like, you know, I rarely go back and look at replies when people reply. I really don't. And I kept seeing Kenya Moore tag, like they were adding Kenya Moore in my tweet. I'm like, what's going on? Why do they keep saying at Kenya Moore? And then it dawned on me that Kenya had retweeted the tweet that I put out regarding the conversation. I never once said anything about Drew's son as much as I talked about the conversation, because I do think that the conversation was very cringe-worthy. Cringe as in awkward, cringe as in uncomfortable. And as stated, Drew was trying to make it seem like Kenya, and you know I never take up for Kenya. This is the actual tweet. This is my tweet, y'all. Look at the date. I tweeted it on March 21st at 7:29 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? Drew was trying to make it seem like Kenya said something directly about Josiah, and that was actually not the case. She was referring to the conversation. And you know, as much as it pains me to even give Kenya any kind of like rope, right? Even a little bit, because she irks my soul. She irked me all season with the whole Bolo stuff. She was referring to the conversation, and I feel like Drew took it out on Kenya simply because who else could she take it out on, right? Who could she? Because a lot of people felt like that conversation was indeed uncomfortable for Josiah. And I personally feel like the reason why I tweeted that, because I feel like Drew was looking for a moment. She was pulling her son's situation into her storyline. And I know that there were a lot of people who were responding. Like, once I realized what Kenya had retweeted and I saw that people were responding and like, this tweet is disgusting, you know, and they are entitled to that. They are absolutely entitled to that. I saw that a lot of people felt like it was good for Drew to share this part of her life because a lot of people are going through it. Again, for me personally, I felt like it was an awkward, cringy moment because this child clearly did not want to engage in that conversation. And Drew was leading him. And with the old daddy, new daddy stuff, and all I could think about over the last few weeks, hearing her say old daddy and new daddy over and over, how do you think this child probably came to that conclusion? Now, I'm sure there's other things behind the scenes that Drew didn't necessarily share. Maybe there was some things that the biological father did that disappointed Josiah. So he has every reason. If he didn't feel like he wanted to engage with his biological father, that was something that he certainly could feel. I just felt like that was one of those moments that, in my opinion, should have been private and not necessarily for the world. Like I said, there were a lot of people felt like, well, you know, families deal with this stuff all the time. I just feel some type of way when you pull children into your story and when they didn't ask for that. And Josiah, like I said in that moment, was clearly uncomfortable. He did not want to engage. And he gets like, no. And I said, let that baby go play Minecraft or something. That was not a dig at him. That was me saying that I felt like in that moment, the conversation was uncomfortable. I used cringy. I did. And like I said, Drew got on here and basically came for Kenya. Now, Kenya, I felt like went below the belt too. I didn't think that Kenya should have said anything like, you know, yo baby daddy under the jail, like that back and forth, you know, but that's what TV, that's good TV, right? That's what these ladies do. They're going to come for each other. But in my opinion, Drew was reaching. And Kenya's rebuttal was, well, a lot of people were feeling that. But to take up for Drew, I did think to myself, although I stand on what I said in that tweet, I don't take it back. But as far as Kenya retweeting it, I do think that if the tables were turned and someone had said something similar about Brooklyn, Kenya would have probably made it a moment as well. I feel like the other night when Drew was on here crying about it, in my opinion, I feel like she was acting. I feel like she was unseen. I feel like she was making a moment. She was making a moment. And again, she took it out on Kenya because Kenya retweeted it. Yeah, I do think that when it comes to these castmates and these cast members, it's tricky. Just don't say nothing about, what can be perceived as talking about somebody's kid. Although, again, Kenya wasn't talking about Josiah. But just to be safe, leave those tweets alone. But the funny thing is, and I ain't got that kind of time, but if you were to go through all these girls' likes, these women's likes, and see what they liked on Twitter, I'm sure Drew probably liked some things that probably would even include Brooklyn, or somebody said something, not necessarily directly about Brooklyn, but when it came to Kenya bringing her daughter on that trip when they went to South Carolina. If we were to really go through all those tweets, I'm sure there would be something that Kenya could have picked out and said, well, see, you talking about my, even though that's technically not what happened, right? That's not what happened. The truth of the matter is, I like Drew. I haven't liked her over the last few weeks because I don't like her, and I don't even like Toya, but I don't like her just trying to put all this responsibility on Toya, and this whole past a lot, as if he's not a grown ass man capable of making his own decisions. And I'm glad that Candy called her on the carpet for that. I don't like that. I don't like Drew constantly, blaming women for the actions of men. She one of them. She one of them. Right. So I can tell that Drew was looking for a moment on that studio stage at that reunion about this tweet. A lot of people felt that way about the conversation. It was not about Josiah. And she continued with the old daddy, new daddy stuff for weeks. It doesn't have to be old daddy, new daddy. It's a blessing. It is a blessing for this young man to have two men who love him. And he can have two dads, and they don't have to be called old daddy and new daddy. And I can say that because I understand it from actual experience, actual real life experience. My son's biological father, he, broke up with me before, I even had my son, right? My son, I told my son that he had, when he was when I felt like was an appropriate age, 9 or 10, I told him that the man that I married, that's his dad, but it wasn't his biological father. So we had that very uncomfortable conversation. Okay. My son, although I didn't want it to happen, my son, who knew, his biological father's name around his sophomore and junior year, saw him out, found his biological sister, his older sister, and formed a relationship with this man behind my back, right? I was livid because I'm, the first thing I would have thought, and I guess for me, what I thought, like I was keeping that separated, and I didn't want him to do that because I didn't want this man to hurt him. And I thought, like, if he rejected me, I was worried that he would reject my son, and then I would have to bust him in his head. I would have to fuck him up. So I didn't want that to happen. Lo and behold, it happened without me. And they had been like hanging out and all this other stuff. And it drove me crazy. It hurt my feelings. But in the end, everybody's cool. He has two fathers. The man that I married is still very much his dad. He calls this guy dad. He says dad and daddy. He said is daddy for the man who raised him, and it's dad for the man who came into his life later on. And, they do things together. They came together for my granddaughter's first birthday party. I mean, it's been a process, but it has worked out. And all I'm saying to you guys is that I understand from experience, and it can happen. Matter of fact, his biological father's mother, her and I have gotten close over the last few years. She came to my son's graduation and she was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. because he had kept my son a secret for years, right? Nobody knew. He literally kept that secret to himself for years. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Her and her son didn't even talk like for a while because of this. Once she found out, and me and her talk like every week. We are like as thick as thieves. My family has grown. It's extended. Matter of fact, she's a YouTuber. I'm going to have to share her YouTube with y'all really soon in the next video, in another video or something. But all I'm saying to you guys is I tweeted that because I understand how these things go. And I understand from experience. And it doesn't have to be an old daddy, new daddy situation. He is blessed to have two men who love him and want to be in his life. And yeah, you can call one dad and one pops, whatever works for them. But that old daddy, new daddy shit, that was cringy. And like I said, I stand on my tweet. My original tweet said that the conversation was cringy. And I stand on that. And I felt like Drew was trying to make good TV and used her son in that moment. And she was trying to make good TV again by crying on this couch. Matter of fact, there were people that kept tweeting the night of the reunion. People kept retweeting my tweet and quoting my tweet like, this is the tweet that she was upset about. And I showed y'all the tweet. I said the conversation was cringy. I never said Josiah was cringy. But again, I understand that people can be sensitive, especially these women on this couch when it comes to kids. So like I said, I do understand that if the tables were turned, Kenya probably would have an issue if Drew even uttered Brooklyn's name. So I get it. I do get her point. And Kenya's the target simply because I'm a stranger on the internet. And I'm sure a lot of people pretty much said the same thing. But Kenya retweeted it. So Kenya's going to get that smoke. Right? Kenya's going to get that smoke. And that's really kind of the bottom line there. So I just wanted to come to you guys and just say, I'm back. I got another video I want to talk about, the whole DMX funeral. I've been wanting to say something so bad about that. Like I said, I just wanted to take a shower in my house. So I didn't give a damn about nothing but trying to get this remodeling over here done. Like I said, when you deal with contractors, if y'all ever had contractor in your house and you know that sometimes they take their own sweet time, I ain't give a damn about no damn YouTube. But everything is all right in the house, okay? And I'm feeling much better about that. Things seem to be okay now. But like I just stated, I just wanted to come back to you guys and just share that with you, that was indeed your girl's tweet. That was my tweet, and it went viral, and they were talking about my tweet on the first part of reunion, y'all. All right. So anyway, I'm back, and I want to just I haven't checked any emails if any of you sent any. I haven't even looked at. Like I said, I really did take a break. I stopped everything. I literally stopped everything. But I want to thank Rebecca, who sent me a Cash App while I was on my little hiatus. I appreciate you, girl. And everybody, I look forward to looking at your, your comments down below. I missed y'all. I missed y'all. But I am back, and I will see you guys on the next video. You know what to do. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.